Hello and welcome to post-match reaction to the Maori All Blacks versus Samoa, even though a lot of places seem to have it down as Samoa versus the Maori All Blacks, even though it's in New Zealand. So I think they've got that wrong personally. But there you go. We'll stick with what we think is right here on New Zealand Sport Radio. And to join me to discuss the game, I've got Stephen Harris. How are you doing, sir?
Very good. Thank you, Paul. Always a privilege and pleasure to be on your show.
And I see you got your Maori All Blacks jersey on, which I remember you buying when you came down for us to do a show down in Hamilton. We did a live show down there. So great to see you in that jersey. I'm in one of my new jerseys. I got my Harbour one on. I got a couple of new ones on sale from Paladin. So yeah, good sale there if you're looking out for some jerseys, folks. Look, I guess first off, we're going to say it's a strange one that they kept it down in Wellington, where there were no crowds. It all felt a bit strange at the beginning of the game, and I guess that's what the rest of the world has been used to. But it's not what we've been used to down here. Yeah,
I think I might have just messaged that in our group chat. I think it would have been a lot better had they either taken it to probably the options with Taranaki's stadium under repairs, probably Palmerston North, or just across to the coast there, and Napier would have been probably a better option. It just would have given it a little bit of atmosphere, and it probably felt a little flat from that point of view.
Yeah, or even to the spiritual home of the Maori All Blacks up in Rotorua, where they've played games before as well. So, I mean, yeah, plenty of options of places to take it to. You don't have to be playing in the capital cities all the time. So, or in the big cities like Auckland and stuff, which is where they are next weekend. But so a bit of a strange one there. But I say probably what the rest of the world has had to deal with, and something that we've been lucky enough not to have to worry about really. The Samoa started out really well. Got under the Maori's sort of skin and caused them to kick out very short into their own 22. Not much of an exit really in that one. So yes, the final score, by the way, folks, who's obviously asked on Twitter, was 35-10 to the Maori All Blacks in the end. So I'll just put that up as a banner so people can see. But Stephen, yeah, a good start by Samoa. They just couldn't capitalise first up.
Yeah, they took advantage of obviously a decent sort of breeze that they had behind them, and in those early stages, the Maori really struggled to actually clear or get any sort of purchase from out of their red zone. But unfortunately for Samoa, they just kind of made, while they were mounting pressure, just made little mistakes at time and let the Maoris off the hook. But I was quite impressed in that first 10 minutes with their line speed, and that's the sort of pressure that they were putting on the New Zealand Maori, that hence they couldn't get out of their 22.
Yeah, absolutely. And Simon makes a point here that they were missing a few of their international players or internationally based players here. I think they said on commentary that 13 of the players are New Zealand based, and obviously some players out from Australia and some down from Samoa, but perhaps a few haven't been able to get back through MIQ in time for this game. When you consider that this weekend we've had finals in the top 14, and we've got the Premiership final coming up this weekend. I think this evening, I think it is as well. So so there are clearly it wasn't perhaps a full strength side, but friend of the show, Dwayne Poliativo, made a bit of a break, offloaded it nicely to his number 6, who went over and scored, but it got ruled out. I mean, they definitely. I think Samoa were on the wrong end of a couple of decisions in that first half. The Maori All Blacks player was arriving at the ruck. The number 12, who was over the ruck, defending it for Samoa, really hadn't got a clue where the ball was, but saw a guy flying in. So obviously engages him. Nothing dangerous or anything like that. He just cleared him out a bit, and Dwayne Poliativo, off he goes and puts it in. So I think that was a tad harsh. The commentators did as well. So yeah, unlucky for the Samoans there in that one. They did bring it back. Sorry,
I was about to say, Paul, probably just the fact I think it happened in isolation as well. Usually we see that sort of thing happen all the time, in that ruck or contact area, but it looked isolated. It got isolated by the TMO, and probably looked far worse than what it was. But I think what they needed to take into account would it have any effect on the play? I don't think so. I don't think that particular player who gets cleaned out gets up to make that tackle anyway.
Yeah, look, I guess it was a ruck that the Maori All Blacks had effectively not engaged. So you only got one player there, which by isolated. So yeah, there were very, very few bodies there. It was very open. You could see what was going on, which is a rarity at ruck time. Let's be honest. We did have a absolute peach of individual skill, though, soon afterwards, which from Fumai, who Terry Black came in to try and intercept, knocks the ball on. Everybody essentially stops. Fumai picks it up, kicks through, and chases it, and everyone else is like, "Oh, help! There's no one back there!" And off he goes and scores nicely. So, folks, yes, don't always play to the ref's whistle. Okay, if you've knocked it on and the ball's just lying there, grab it, and then he'll. But yeah, all the Maori All Blacks players just stopped, and lovely piece to even things up. Which I think Samoa fully deserved at that point.
Oh, very much so. And it was a good bounce back, especially after the Māoris had scored after nine minutes. And boy, that was a good try as well. It came from a very good pass to find some space on the outside to Wainu, little kick ahead. And of course, Terry Black involved twice in that try with the cross kick. So for Samoa, it was a good bounce back after being a little bit unlucky. And to me, it was a deserved try after a period of pressure, because they had a good part of that first 20 odd minutes or so. And really well taken. And I thought, well, here they go. If they can, pick up points when they can and stay in the fight, they'd be right in this game. And it's credit to them that it actually took New Zealand Māori till the 32nd minute to go again. But no doubt we're going to talk about that try, because once again we talk about getting a bit of luck on the night. It was the Māoris that got a little bit of luck on that occasion.
Yeah, no, exactly. And look, the Maori All Blacks clearly got their running lines nicely worked out. Had players out the back door, and the backs were clicking. I mean, something we've said about some teams that have been run by a Terry Black this season. The backs haven't been clicking, but boy, oh boy, there were tonight. Caleb Trask really injecting himself nicely into the line. They're working well with both Sean Wainui and Sean Stevenson, his two players who he plays with at the Chiefs. Nankivell also another player from the Chiefs there. Obviously, all those four players coached by Clayton McMillan, who was coaching the Maori All Blacks, and also by I've gone blank, Randall, the attack coach there at the Chiefs. So look, add in Billy Proctor and Terry Black, and look, they were playing, as I say, good as a unit back there. That we saw what a try nearly, but the boys just didn't quite touch it down. But yes, fake line out. Fake line out Moore, sorry, it was a real line out. Ash Dixon takes it out the back of what was everyone thought was going to be the Maul, passes it inside to hard running Nankivell, who then pops it to Wainui. He goes in and scores. Lovely move, but boy oh boy, as the commentators use the term a flat pass, meaning forwards, it was a very flat pass but it's always difficult to give those or to go back and review that on camera. But yeah, look, to all the world that looked forward, didn't it?
Oh, very much so. And it's just a shame they didn't have the thing that flies around in the air, the drone.
Well, yeah. The other thing to mention is that the reason it wasn't a drone was because the weather conditions were so awful.
Yeah. Because an aerial shot would have probably shown a couple of things that the pass did float forward, and I actually think it was thrown forward from the hands as well. So really unlucky for Samoa. I mean to say that there's a little point of difference in there, but to me that pass did go forward, and that would have just been another little victory for the Samoan team. And look, listen, make no bones, it's definitely not their strongest combination. So under the circumstances, would have been a heck of a lot better to go into the halftime break only maybe a try down, as opposed to conceding a second try just before halftime.
Yeah, but if you think we had a one called out, a Maori All Blacks try in the corner, disallowed for a knee down going out. We also had Alatoa try at the very death there, disallowed for him fumbling it. I didn't think he lost control, but there you go. So look, we had plenty of tries. Well, 3 tries disallowed for things that you might not see if you didn't have a TMO, or that you wouldn't have seen if you didn't have a TMO. So for this one to get away with this one seemed to was a tad unfair. Trask again injected himself into the line nicely, gave it to Wainui, who grubbers through. And look, in wet, blustery conditions, the grubbers through, the kicks through were the way to play this game. Then the crossfield kick to Sean Stevenson, who found himself all alone. Caleb Trask involved in all of that. So he using his 10 skills as well as his 15 skills to inject into the line and then put that cross kick in. Saw Sean Stevenson walk over for his second try, and suddenly it's 21-7 and it's starting to look comfortable. Up until that point, as you say, we had game on, but yeah, at that point you're thinking, yeah, it's pretty much over. You think it's they've opened up two. They've also had most of the play in that half as well. At the Maori All Blacks, the Samoa did need to keep in touch if they were going to do this one. Look, they came out in the second half, pulled back a penalty to not to a penalty in some, and considering the blustery conditions down there, the fact that every single kick went over shows there's some pretty good kicking on display by both teams there.
Yeah. And a swirling cake tin, I should say, Paul, as well.
Absolutely. Unfortunately for Samoa, basically their set piece in the second half really let them down. The line out have been struggling. In the first half, look, scrums were a mess for both teams, and the referee was putting his arm up one way or the other.
Yeah,
I'm not going to try and profess to be an expert on what was going on there, but yeah, both sides were a mess.
Oh, listen,
in the second half,
Paul, sorry? I was going to say I enjoyed the scrum battle, especially between Rakete Stones and Kalolo Tuiloma. It seems as though a lot of the issues were happening on their side of the scrum, and it was interesting. It was sort of like I think maybe a couple of penalties each way, but there were times that they were getting up from the penalties looking totally confused. I think maybe Rakete Stones might have just got the better at the end of the day, but once those two left the field and there were changes, there was definitely that's when that Maori scrum did start to dominate the emergence of Tamaiti Williams on the loose head side, who the commentators were saying was 6 foot. Tony Johnson was saying he's 6'5". I don't think he's quite that. I don't think he's quite that tall. I think he is a very big prop, but I think he's probably more in the 6'3" frame. But boy, definitely a kid with a lot of potential. 19, 20 years old. Gee.
And about 19, 20 stone. Look at the size of it.
And how old are you?
Adding a stone every single year is life. Otherwise, we end up.
Yeah, how old are you? 19 stone. I mean, 19 years old.
And basically the line out started to suffer from Samoa. The scrum started to go backwards after about the around about the hour mark. We did get the Ash Dixon line out maul try, which basically seemed to be what the entire second half was basically about, was trying to get Ash Dixon a line out maul try, because there was no chance at all they were going to kick for sticks. Everything was going to the corner and was going to be mauled. We did have Festy Douglas going over for a try, but look, when he went over, Iona, I think is the number 10 for Samoa. He wanted nothing of him at all. Festy Douglas comes off the back of a dominant scrum. Iona seems to be like, okay, there's me and him and this try line. He's going to throw a dummy, and I'm going to fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. And I'll let him walk over. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, business decision there that he wasn't going to bother trying to tackle him. And in all honesty, that try was coming sooner or later anyway. But yeah, he was. That was definitely a number 10 against a number 8, going, no thanks, I don't want that.
gave him a free way to the try line. Go that way.
Absolutely, yeah. Go, yeah, dummy this way. I'll follow the dummy, and you just walk straight in, mate. All yours, all yours. Dear me. Now, and in a day and age of kind of like, I guess now of fly halves who likes to tackle, it was fun to see. But as I say, it was coming. That made it 35-10, and yeah, I'd say after Ash Dixon, well, I think after the try before half time, it was pretty clear that the Maori All Blacks were going to win. They kept a two-score lead at all times, and say then they went out to a 35-10 lead. Look, Samoa kept playing straight the way to the end, and as the commentators let us know, for them it's all about their game against Tonga in 2 weeks' time. They'll get another chance against Maori All Blacks this coming weekend, which is why I don't think they could have delayed this game. I think they could have moved it, but I don't think they could have delayed it, because if they delay it to Monday night in a 5-day turnaround for these teams, player welfare to me says no, you can't do that, personally. So I understand, yeah, the game had to be played today. The question just was, where were they going to play it? The interesting point that Simon made was technically this was a Samoan home game, so maybe Samoa would have to have paid for any relocation costs, which is why maybe it wasn't moved. I don't know, but anyway, you think in this day and age that they would actually sort something out. But look, Samoa kept playing to the end, didn't quite get over the line, but look, showed good heart, and let's hope they can build on this now.
Oh, I hope so, and with a bit of luck, maybe get some reinforcements next week just to strengthen those teams. I mean, to say you just think about some of the Samoan players that are playing around the world. It's crazy. I know Toulouse, who took out the top 14 this morning against La Rochelle. You saw Joe Takori running around for Toulouse. Boy, you know, you get somebody of that caliber and power, it gives you something extra in your team. However, there were some pretty good performances from the Samoas. I was impressed with Sam Slade. Boy, he started the game well, and he just worked hard throughout the game. I thought Jack Lamb, the skipper, was very good. Stowers showed out, and of course Dwayne Palatavao, our friend of the show, and be good to catch up with Dwayne. Dwayne played really, really well, you know, and I think probably benefiting from his experience of playing for Tasman last year, and in the backside, I was impressed with the second five as well. Taifu, he always seemed to be hard to take down in the first tackle. I can remember one run in the second half where he was very good, and of course Nerai Formai, the Hawke's Bay man, having a good battle with Jonah Lowe at the end. His Hawke's Bay teammate looked like they were having a good laugh about it. So yeah, there's a bit to work off there. They shouldn't be too disappointed. I think maybe that score at the end of the day, Paul, maybe flattered the Māoris a little bit.
I think the Samoa, yeah, I mean, obviously, I say Samoa had 2 disallowed tries in this game, so yes, I think they should have scored another one. From that point of view, so yes, and as you say, a questionable try for Ash Dixon as well. So yeah, perhaps slightly, but no bones about it. Maori All Blacks definitely deserved the win, a comfortable win there in this one. The commentators did say, that Clayton Malone will be happy with the start to his season. Well, can you really call 2 games a season? I mean, that's really making it a bit making it all sound a bit grander than it really has been. Look, they only announced the side 10 days ago, maybe 11 days ago. This is the squad. They've had next to no time together. They've had a couple of training run-outs, and that's it. So to try and call their 3 and a bit weeks together a season really is overstating the facts. Look, there is a lot of history, there is a lot of mana around this team. It's just unfortunate that they just don't get the time together and the games to really reflect that. They just get the absolute scraps and there isn't really the effort put in to give them the games they should be having, in my view.
Yeah, I'll probably go along with you. You're probably pushing me to a corner I probably don't want to go to, Paul. But
Right? That's all right.
but maybe it isn't such a bad thing for anybody watching the show. Yeah, you can check out my Twitter handle which is at Stephen73_H. I made the comment, and I mean this gracefully with the respect to some of our island nations, and we've got to support Pacific Island rugby. I totally agree, but I also think we've also got to support Maori rugby as well. I think there's a time where a lot of Maori youth take different paths in life, and it's a great opportunity to push young Maori boys in the right direction. I'll just give you an example. 2 years ago, I watched the New Zealand Maoris play Fiji down in Rotorua. I think you might have been at the same game, Paul. But in the pre-game, there was the Maori Colts under-21 side that played that night. Now, one of those boys who played first five that night was one Zahn Sullivan, and he's gone on to bigger, better things. But also in that squad, there's another 4 or 5 players that are now part of Mitre 10 Cup squads that may not have got an opportunity if if it wasn't for that level of rugby. Eventually, they always do come through. Usually they say cream does rise to the top, but sometimes it's just that little bit slower, Paul. But the whole idea is to actually try and catch them, and that I think sometimes I also made a point about maybe the New Zealand Māori should play the All Blacks, and there was a lot on the Twitter handle that agreed with me, but there were a lot that pretty much thought no, we want to get away from selecting what you might call a racially selected side. But listen, I think it's more of a culturally selected side, if you know what I mean, Paul. And I mean to say it also helps out New Zealand rugby, because I don't know if you'd agree with me, but I don't know, New Zealand rugby tends to use Maori rugby when they feel like it, if you know what I mean. I'm not just talking about sort of intellectual rights, but I can recall maybe a couple of years ago, I didn't know this, but all of a sudden Damien McKenzie was playing for the Maoris. Who knew at the time that he was Maori? And we thought, well, where did that come from? It just came down to left field, but that was just primarily just to give him a run at a decent level. I think that's when he was actually returning from that serious injury that he had.
No, I think also, if memory serves me right, that was in Chicago when the All Blacks were playing Ireland the following day, and the Maori All Blacks played the USA. So he wasn't selected for the All Blacks, and therefore ran out for the Maori All Blacks as they're basically in the same location. Didn't he also run out for the Maori All Blacks against the Lions as well? So I think he's probably had got a couple of tests for them. Look, the Maori All Blacks are a side that has got a good following internationally, who will like to see more of, and it would be good to see them tour more and get more games. In recent years, they've been used a bit to help some of the or to go play games with some of the tier 2 nations, such as down in South America. And if that's what you're going to use them for, fine. But do in the November window. Do make sure that they get, for my mind, 5 or 6 games a year is what we need to see, not just one or two.
Paul, I would love to have seen a situation where maybe we saw a New Zealand Maori team play, or even play a Samoan 15 that basically had some Samoan-based players who'd played in Super Rugby, but are not who haven't been Samoan internationals, and I'm pretty sure there's a few around that.
To me, Samoa players who aren't eligible for Samoa because they've been capped by someone else, I don't think should be included. But one of the comments that came out of your chat was, why not have had a round robin tournament between Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, the Maori All Blacks, and the All Blacks? For example, maybe also include a Wallabies A team in there as well, as they're taking on France at the moment. Look, I mean, there were interesting and innovative options in this window to use, but that would be, to my mind, that would be the way for it to go. Are some of the someone who suggested that perhaps some of the European clubs don't want to play the Maori All Blacks in the November window? Look, the European clubs already have a very full schedule. They don't have space to or if they end up playing a midweek game, you're going to get a second strength side out of Toulouse or a second strength side out of Leicester or whoever. You're not going to get you're not going to get the full strength side. So, to my mind, those tour games unfortunately don't work so well because the most of those teams have got a full schedule even during international windows as well, and they won't roll out their best players for that kind of game. So I don't think it really works. Maori All Blacks going and playing European clubs. Don't know your thoughts, Stephen?
Yeah, I'd probably, I think you're the voice of reason on this occasion, but Paul. So yeah, like I say, I suppose it comes back to timing and just implementing those things. But I know there's a lot of stuff going down on the ground. I know Northern Rugby and even North Harbour Rugby, talking to a steward of North Harbour Rugby, they're trying to get regional tournaments back up and running. Once upon a time, there used to be a what we call the Coronation Shields Districts Maori tournament, which took in all the teams sort of north of Waikato, and in fact included Bay of Plenty as well, counties Manukau, Thames Valley, Auckland Harbour and Northern played in a fantastic weekend tournament. I remember attending one once, but once again, I suppose it comes back again, Paul, where do you slot this sort of level of rugby in? And that's the issue.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your time, Stephen. Looking forward to watching the Maori All Blacks take on Samoa again next weekend as part of a double header when the All Blacks take on Fiji from memory, is it? Or they're playing Tonga next weekend? Anyway, either way, I can't remember off the top of my head. Folks, there is also the British and Irish Lions versus Japan tonight at 2 a.m. New Zealand time. Now, I won't be watching that one live, but I will be watching that first thing in tomorrow morning, and we'll discuss both Maori All Blacks versus Samoa and the British and Irish Lions versus Japan in our review show at 8 p.m. on Sunday, so 8 p.m. tomorrow. So do join us for that one, folks. Stephen, again, thanks very much for your time.
Yeah, no problems at all, Paul. And quickly, congratulations to Jerome Kainor for such an amazing career as well. It was a tough old watch, though, I got to say, but congratulations to Toulouse and, of course, Jerome Kainor.
Congratulations to him.